Okay, good morning, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. Adoption of the agenda. Ms. Collins.
Thank you, through the chair. Administration is requesting 2 minor adjustments to the agenda. First, we'd like to remove item 10.2, the urban minor ball sponsorship. Since the agenda was published, we've received some new information that requires administration to look in a bit more, so we're hoping to bring it back the next council meeting. And the second item, 13.1, policy COU1 council remuneration. There was an uploading error. So the RFD wasn't uploaded in the package, but it's been provided to you in your folders. So yeah, with those adjustments, we'd like to ask that council approve the agenda as amended.
Okay, thank you. Dustin's moving that with the removal and the addition. Any questions? Vote.
Nothing's going on yet. Just 1 second.
Yeah. The hamsters are getting rolling.
Old Doug's slow this morning.
Yeah.
I'll put up my hand. I'm in favor.
Gary would have his better records.
Yep. Gotta
What
get her
does everybody say? 1 second. 1 second. Say 1 minute.
Stuff that one out.
10 minutes.
Oh, they were trying to keep it quiet, so that Eric had
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Gotta get her fixed though.
Christ, I don't know. Papa's gonna get pretty freaking tired and played out. Jason Jordan's going.
Okay.
There you go. Vote, guys.
I tried that the other day, and I see if it's gonna happen yet or not. I got a text from me. I'll show you later. It's the weirdest thing.
Okay, that's carried. Adoption of the minutes. Everybody read them? Gary's moving them. Any questions or comments on it? Vote. That's carried. The delegations here, do we want to jump right to it or jump over and follow the schedule?
Chair's call, but they were scheduled for 10:30 and 11.
Okay, let's go to 8.1. Mr. Hawk.
Oh, me. Yeah, no, I'd like to bring back the accounts payable listing. We have, in the past, have made policy changes. We have looked, there. We have made policy changes by reviewing them accounts payable when we ended up buying gravel trucks. We even noticed on what we were spending up at Hilda on that water plant. And when I campaigned, a lot of people asked for us to be accountable for our...
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. It's sorry, just a point of order right now. As a notice of motion, a notice of motion is intended to be read in, not to be debated or argued at all. And as a clarity item too, as a part of the point of order and what's been, or the notice of motion, we do have it saying that it's to be debated today, and I believe our procedural bylaw says that this needs to actually have what date it is coming back. It can't be debated the same day.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. And we also need a seconder on this. We do not have a seconder on the notice of motion. Okay, Dustin is seconded.
What is the notice of motion?
Yeah.
That we'd like to bring back the accounts payable listing. Accounts payable sheet or listing at the end of every month, or the beginning of, the new month for the past month. Like we used to have. We used to have it.
What date is it going to be coming back?
Well, I'd like to,
Because ultimately, the date that it comes back gives staff time to prepare
the next meeting then.
the next meeting.
Next meeting, would like it to come back then. The 24th.
Okay, March 24th. We don't vote on that, it's just read in. Thank you. Okay,
Thanks, Robin.
thanks for the point of order,
Used to make
Robin.
motions. Now we got to rate it.
Okay, that's read in. 10.1. Oh, Jody.
Good morning, Council, and through the chair, I have 2 sponsorship requests to put before you today. The first is for the 20-mile Irvin Rodeo sponsorship request. This marks the 40th anniversary of the 20-mile Irvin Rodeo in Cypress County. This year's event will celebrate this impressive milestone, as well as the deep roots and lasting importance of rodeo within the community. The annual event spans 2 days and brings an average of 200 viewers for the kids' events on Saturday and 700 viewers for the main events on Sunday. In anticipation of the 40th anniversary, the 20-Mile Rodeo Committee has replaced all the panels through partial sponsorship with UFA, as well as most of the wood planking around the booth and arena. The rodeo is break even most years, so the 20-Mile Rodeo Committee does not have the extra funds needed to make this event special and differentiate it from all of the others. They want to have music this year, some special signage, extra porta potties as they expect, larger attendance than usual, and a larger winner's purse so they can attract special talent to the event. Additionally, they want to repaint all of the posts and wood in the arena prior to the event, so the grounds are fresh and beautified for the occasion. To this end, the 20-Mile Irvin Rodeo Committee is requesting a sponsorship amount of $2,000. The anniversary is a one-time opportunity to provide additional support to the group's ongoing efforts and recognize the value of their recreational programming. This event brings recognition to Cypress County as a main sponsor and promotes social and cultural development. Sponsorship of this event would include Cypress County signage around the arena and in strategic locations. Sponsorship of this event may set a precedent for funding future anniversary type events. The cost and source of funding is recommended as $2,000 from the 2026 Rec 2 operating grants. This sponsorship aligns with Cypress County's Rec 4 sponsorship policy statement to contribute financial support for the purpose of providing event, program, or activity that contributes to social or cultural development of the county and its residents. This sponsorship aligns with Cypress County's strategic plan values by supporting collaboration and partnerships with a sport tourism focus. This event is likely to draw additional attention to the county. The recommendation from administration is that Cypress County Council approves the request for $2,000 for the 20-Mile Irvin Rodeo event out of the 2026 Rec 2 operating grants budget. Options are to approve it out of the rec grant budget as just stated, or to decline sponsorship of the 20-Mile Irvin Rodeo event. You can approve sponsorship of the event with funds to be allocated from the 2026 Recs for Sponsorship Reserve Fund, or that you direct administration accordingly.
Hey, Blaine, you have a question?
Well, actually, I'll make the motion to approve the $2,000 donation, but I will actually ask the question that, aren't they already on the rec board thing for the 2,000? So this isn't above, this is just for the 2,000 that they'd normally get, right?
No, this is above
This
what
is
they would, their
above
normal
what they
allocation.
want?
So
I
each
didn't
year
quite
they,
explain that in there. Okay.
yeah, each year they break even on their events with what they're normally allocated. So this is for this one-time anniversary event.
Okay. I mean, as I said earlier, I still make that motion, just because it is quite an anniversary, and it's quite a big event, and I think it's important to the community to help support that rodeo, so.
Any other questions? Michelle?
If we do this, because this is over and above their regular allocation, will every other community association come back? Well, we're having an anniversary. I want some money too.
This is something that the rec department is working on to develop, to change the sponsorship policy. It's not before you today, but it is in development that would clearly outline who would be eligible for this kind of funding versus the normal recreation funding that's allocated each year. So we are aware of that potential loophole, and it will be addressed in a policy coming before you in future.
Mr. Proctor?
I think we need to address each one of these requests and on their own merit, and not hide from the fact that something may be coming down the road that isn't coming down the road yet. I support this.
Mr. Hawk?
Yeah, I agree that we support it. It's a 40th year, and like in their letter, they want to paint the posts, make it look nice, add a band. It's a special celebration, 40. They're not celebrating their 39th. It's their 40th year. It's a big milestone for the community. Communities are important, and I support it.
Mr. Brost?
Well, and to add to that, this organization has worked very hard in securing other donations to upgrade that facility that has been in function for 40 years. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit that they've worked very hard in keeping it up, and like I said, securing other donations and grants to keep it going.
Anybody else? I'd agree with everybody that don't have a problem with it, just it's coming out of the rec budget. Is there enough funds in there to cover all that, or what's left over? Have we allocated that out this year already?
The sponsorship budget is fully allocated now. So we're recommending this come out of the Rec 2 budget,
Rec 2 budget.
grant budget.
Mr. Cartwright?
Sorry, thank you to jump in through the chair. So this would be coming from the larger purse of the Rec 2, which is the operating capital grants for the community associations. So it is dipping in. We did have about 77,000 from last year that was not spent as part of the deliberations for the different community association asks last year. But it will, for the 2026 budget, $2,000 would have been sort of already allocated, so that'll come off of the total purse that we would have to allocate out for what we do suspect will be requests for capital grants for this year.
So the funds are there then?
Yes.
That's all. Keith, did you have a question? Okay. Any other questions? Vote? Oh, does everybody know what they're voting on? Okay. Nobody said no. That's carried. 10.
Thank you. And through the chair, I'll now present the Cowboy Poetry Foundation sponsorship request. The Medicine Hat Cowboy Poetry Foundation is a nonprofit society that promotes authentic Western music and cowboy poetry while documenting history and the rural lifestyle of communities around Medicine Hat. This group hosts an annual event in October to showcase this unique genre in the form of stories, poems, music, video, and stage performances. The event has grown from a single evening 6 years ago to a 3-day event with hired headliners, open mic sessions, memoirs, rodeo princesses are involved, a branding ceremony, and 4-H participation. The Cowboy Poetry Foundation meets with kids in the public speaking component of the 4-H program and help them write their story, and then they perform it on stage. The event attracts approximately 100 people, with some enthusiasts coming as far as BC, Manitoba, and Ontario. Most of the participants and viewers are from the rural areas surrounding Medicine Hat. The Medicine Hat Poetry Foundation is requesting $600 towards their 2026 showcase. So this showcase is an opportunity for people of all ages and abilities to share their experiences and rural histories. The foundation is trying to preserve and pass on these unique expressions of life, including local brand and barn stories and farm and ranch histories. As a rural county, this event is in line with the life experiences of many of our residents. This event was historically held at Medicine Hat College, but the price has become prohibitive. This year's showcase will be held at Victory Church in Medicine Hat. Cypress County does strive to sponsor events that are inside the county borders. The source of funding, the Sponsorship Reserve Fund. This sponsorship aligns with Cypress County's Recs for sponsorship policy statement to contribute financial support for the purpose of providing an event, program, or activity that contributes to either the social or cultural development of the county and its residents. However, it also only loosely aligns with Cypress County's Rec for Sponsorship Criteria Number 2 statement that events must take place within Cypress County borders except in extraordinary circumstances. This sponsorship does not align with Cypress County's strategic plan in any direct fashion. Administration's recommendation is that Cypress County Council declines the request for the financial support for the Medicine Hat Cowboy Poetry Foundation Showcase. Options include declining sponsorship of funding for the Medicine Hat Cowboy Poetry Foundation Showcase. Option 2 is declining the request for financial support for the Medicine Hat Showcase, but directing administration to communicate to the group that should they move their event within Cypress County borders in future, a future sponsorship request would be considered. Option 3, that you approve sponsorship of the Medicine Hat Cowboy Poetry Foundation Showcase with funds to be allocated from the 2026 Rec for Sponsorship Reserve Fund, or that you direct administration accordingly.
This one's a little harder for somebody to put their hand up, isn't it?
I'll move to decline the sponsorship.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments on it?
I'd just like to make a comment. Keith. So if they move this event to within the county, would we in fact consider a sponsorship in the future?
I guess we'd have to wait for that time to come and see what's going on at that point.
So would number 2 option be a better option? We're still declining it, but or should we just, is a straight declining the better option? That's all.
Well, I have this motion on the floor right now. Mr. Hawk.
Well, I'd like to just make a comment. And where would they move it to in Cypress County is another thing. And number 2, a lot of these people, and I know some of the old folks that attend it, they're in their 70s and 80s, and that's why they pick Medicine Hat. They come from afar, they pick their hotels in town, and they don't like to drive a whole bunch. So if we would move it outside where 7 persons, maybe would be able to hold it, or it's just, you got to look at the group. It's all a lot of old people, seniors, and they help with the kids, and I don't, using that it's not in Cypress County, I don't go for it, and I'm actually in favor of sponsoring it, because I know a lot of people come from out of town, and I know people that come from it. I've been going for years.
Yeah, I'll do a follow-up comment on that too. So this group actually did had a function at the Urban Resource Center last year at 20 Mile Post Week. And it was fairly well attended, like you had said, Shane, with older people and stuff. So I'm a little surprised that they went out of the county and then come to the county to ask for money. So I would probably, I mean, I enjoyed it. I went to it too, actually. And I mean, I would probably be more inclined to sponsor it if they would have chosen a function or something inside of Cypress County for sure. So I would agree with Mr. Ritz, and I'd be willing to be involved or vote for the second option myself. So.
Mr. Watt?
I'm with Shane. There are several people in Elkwater that I know personally that write and go to that, and they perform in it, and they actually have tapes. And quite a few people from Elkwater go to it. So even though it's not in the county, I would be still willing to support it.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, the motion on the floor is to decline the supporting of this for this year. Not seeing any other questions? Vote. And that's carried.
Thank you.
We are on to 10.4.
Good morning, Council. Through the Chair, the Forest and Prairie Protection Act requires Cypress County to appoint a sufficient number of fire gardens annually. The chief elected official, councilors, and the CAO are by virtue of their office fire guardians already. Council is responsible for fighting and controlling all fires within its boundaries and to recover costs as appropriate. Administration recommends that Council appoint Jason Linton, Matt O'Reilly, Keith Fisher, Brady Pancoast, Les Dirksen, Jim Fuse, and Justin Durzap as fire guardians. And administration would also recommend the appointment of Jason Schreiber, our Cypress County's peace officer, as a fire guardian. This is not part of the motion up, well, sorry, now it is, thank you. We've just found out actually over the last couple of weeks, the ability of having our peace officer sort of out, and there's been a lot of times he's been able to do, or has the opportunity to investigate fires without sending out one of our units or our fire apparatus, and which is beneficial in terms of faster response time and just the saving on resources as well. So highly recommend that addition as well.
Dustin?
Before the motion's made, what about the new peace officer? Shouldn't we add him as well?
We will be coming, sorry, through the chair, would like to come back once he's actually got his appointment and is made as a peace officer. We would return back with the addition of the fire garden, or it'd be our intent.
Michelle? Move it with the addition?
Well, were we putting the addition in there? Oh, yes, the first addition, okay, yes, yes, with the addition.
Any questions or comments? Vote. Was that carried? I didn't see it. That was carried? I didn't see it.
I didn't look either.
Carried. We'll take a 2-minute break and then we'll have our delegation. Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. It's 10:30, so we will go into the delegation for 10:30. The floor is yours. Just introduce yourself so we can read your name into the, yeah, and the mic there, when it goes red. No, it's not red yet. There you go, you're on.
There we go. First off, I want to thank you guys for having us here this morning. My name is Murray Heisler, landowner here in Cypress County. I'm also on the board of directors for the Ross Creek Irrigation District and one of the founders of the Cavan Lake Regional Revitalization Project, which is a project trying to get water from the Schmerd over to Cavan Lake. I'll let Gary introduce himself. Gary Franz.
Good morning. Gary Franz. I farm just west of the Hat here over by John Deere. I see some new faces on council, so hoping to provide information about the irrigation side. I was 14 years on St. Mary's River Irrigation District Board, chair for 5 of those, and now I have a role on Irrigation Council. So all of that brings some knowledge then on how this could work between St. Mary's and Ross Creek irrigation districts.
Okay, let's start off with the presentation that I prepared there. First off, I would like to thank the Cypress County Fire Department and all the volunteers that helped extinguish the grass fire on September 25th, 2025. Without the joint effort of both, this outcome could have been catastrophic. This is the 3rd fire in less than 2 weeks we had in the Cavan Lake area on Range Road 40. First topic, Range Road 40 fire hydrant proposal. On the day of the fire, 2 members from Cypress County Fire Department came into my yard looking for a place to fill trucks off our irrigation system. I don't have access to the volume they required in my yard. As much as I wanted to help, this did strike a nerve. I'm on the board of directors for the Ross Creek Irrigation District, and when the district's pipeline was installed, we approached the county to install a fire hydrant along Range Road 40, where the pipeline crossed the road. The county turned it down. This needs to be revisited. With the campground up the road and the increased traffic, I considered what happened on September 25th, 2025 to be a warning shot. I met with Joe Cartwright at the proposed fire hydrant location, so he had a visual and discussed what the RCID and I could do to make this happen. Approximate cost, $20,000 to $30,000. And I will elaborate on that in the question and answer period. Topic number 2, ongoing water issues, the Cavan Lake Regional Revitalization Project. Like all areas in Cypress County and beyond, we've been experiencing excessive drought. The need for a reliable water supply east of Dunmore has never been greater. The proposed pipeline from the SMRID to Cavan Lake would benefit the area in so many ways, including agriculture, domestic, and recreational usages. Cypress County is fully aware of the Cavan Lake Regional Revitalization Project. This project has been pushed hard and has had the attention of our local MLA Justin Wright and Premier Daniel Smith. This project has grown beyond our group. In a response letter from the MLA Justin Wright, the province is looking for Cypress County to recognize the need for the importance of this project and help push it forward. The first thing we want to make clear is that we are not looking for money, as this was established in our original presentation. Cypress County, and this was a comment made back in our original presentation, Cypress County is not in the irrigation business. We need the county as a support aid and their experience for our next step, which is securing grant money for the next stage of engineering. In the MLA's response of possible funding avenues, the Regional Economic Development Grant looks like something worth exploring. The province wants to see Cypress County involvement moving forward. Our group will stay involved with Cypress County staff in every way possible. As you are aware, there is nothing in higher demand than water. The water is available. We need to be proactive and go after it. This project lives or dies with county decision. Your backing is essential to letting us collectively move forward. If possible, that is the presentation. If possible, if we could do the question and answer period in two separate portions. First one being the hydrant and the second being the Cabin Lake project. That would be great.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on the hydrant portion of it?
I could actually elaborate a little bit on the hydrant, which might answer some of the questions. Okay. When I met with Joe Cartwright, and I also think I'm on the board of directors with the Ross Creek Irrigation District. The Ross Creek Irrigation District, number one, that pipeline is live year-round. That pipe is buried below 8 feet. It's a 16 to 18-inch line, so lots of capacity for the need. As far as a charge for water, when it comes to fire, there will be absolutely no charge to the county. The RCID is willing to, in the case of an emergency fire, fill trucks for no cost. If that hydrant was put in for the municipal works, if they needed water for roads, whatever, for dust control, our district does have a pay scale, which I think the county's already aware of, for those type of projects. As far as the hydrant itself goes, we know that hydrant cannot go in the ditch. I did kind of draw up a little map there. Cannot go in the county ditch. What I am willing to do as a landowner is give up an easement at no cost to the county to be able, there is that fresh water line, treated water line that goes right through that ditch. I know there's going to be a setback from that line. I'm willing to let that hydrant into our land, like I say, on an easement, get your guys' setback to make this happen. So if that answered, if there's any other questions on that weren't answered, I'll do my best to answer them.
Okay, Mr. Hawk, you had a question?
I did, but he answered it. If there was volume there, that's, in the pipeline to fill trucks.
So just to answer a little more, at my turnout there in the yard with the drop off the hill, I have 70 pounds pressure at my irrigation turnout. So when Joe asked me that question, he said, yeah, there's lots of water in case that comes.
Well, that's interesting because when 40 Mile put their water line in from Foremost all the way to Manyberries, if you go and look, there's hydrants out in people's fields there where they did it right away.
There's one other thing I could add to that as well. Just talking with somebody from the county, there could be a legality, I guess, with the county owning a hydrant or whatever. That's something you guys will have to talk about. But if need be, RCID could assume ownership of that, and we did talk about that as well, ownership of that hydrant, to take that off the county as well.
Okay, Keith, you have?
Yeah, through the chair, looking at your map here, where would trucks access, where would they gain access to the field to get to the hydrant?
Okay, and that's something else
Are you
that,
planning on just running the hose across the ditch?
okay, I did talk to Joe, we did have that as well, if that county map, or the map is up. Okay, so the dot there, so Range Road 40, which is Cabin Lake Road. Okay, fire hydrant would be on, inside our fence line. And what we kind of talked about in the county ditch itself was basically building up a turnaround area in the ditch over top of that for truck access. I also told Joe, you'll see where I just marked a gate there. I have a gate access back there. And I also told him that that is a dry corner of my irrigation, okay? So what I told Joe is if those trucks need to fill, I says, and if for fire purposes, use the approach, come in the gate, whatever you need to do to fill the trucks. I'm not worried about that.
Any other questions? Okay. No other questions on the hydrant? Go to your,
Okay, any questions on topic 2 with the Cabin Lake Regional Revitalization Project?
Mr. Vossler.
Well, my question, I guess, is what is the direct ask of the county on this? I know you're looking for our support in it, but what is your direct ask?
What is the ask? Well, we're asking to, basically 2 things. The government wants basically the county to call it their stake in the sand and say, hey, this project is going to be good for Dunmore South and East. Number 1, the agricultural end of it. We have the domestic, we got acreages out there that are looking for non-potable water. We have a lake up there, okay, the campground. So first off, we need the county to be on board that this is a viable project. And number 2, it's kind of grown a little bigger than what we are. We would like to be able to use the Cypress County resources to apply for the next round of grant money. The next round of grant money, with that project, I contacted MP Engineering. That also come out in the feasibility study. So the next round of engineering is going to basically decide if this project is feasible or not. So all we want to do is be able to use Cypress County resources to be able to apply for the next round of grant money.
Any other questions? Mr. Ritz?
Through the chair, so when you talk resources, you mean expertise or vehicle type things or?
Expertise.
Expertise.
Yes.
So the planning department and stuff like that.
That's correct.
People.
Yeah, we don't have anybody, whether on the Ross Creek Irrigation District, there is only 3 people on our board. We don't have anybody with the expertise to be able to apply for grant money.
Okay.
I might just add into that a bit. When the letter came back from the MLA Wright, it clearly said that they would like to see Cypress County take a lead in pushing this forward. The importance of it would be beneficial if it came through the county and everybody else unites around you. Your staff would have expertise in grant writing and finding grants and that type of thing. So I think that is the ask at this time is trying to see a grant that might fit to do the next step in engineering in this feasibility study. Again, for those of you that don't know me, being 14 years on the board on SM, I seen the way irrigation changes counties, and I wanted to bring that here to Cypress County. And I've pointed before to Lethbridge, but it's more than that. It's Coaldale. They have businesses there. Tabor has a strong ag business, and those ag businesses could come here and benefit everyone, not just irrigators, but all the farming districts, all the farming families in the county, and even like a small town like Bow Island is thriving because they have an industrial park, and they're generating businesses to come that way through the agri-food corridor. And I think Cypress County could be a big part of that. And I think a big part of it shows that the county is values projects like this. This project in particular doesn't come along to everybody. You have an opportunity here because there's spill water that SM isn't using. Everybody else is looking for water, and it's right here, and it's here for the county to use and to help your agribusiness corridor on this end of the number 3 highway. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you. You guys were in stereo there, so.
You go first.
I guess one more question. Has there been any conversation with SMERD if they're willing to throw any of their expertise into this pot of jam as well? Because as we know, they're pretty good at grant writing on water projects as they were with the regional drainage and whatnot. So I guess, I'm not saying I'm against us helping, but they would really be the better vehicle for this, would they not be?
Well, it's a bit tricky in the fact that SM has its own irrigators right now, and they have to look after them. They're paying for that privilege, and we have to look after those people. This water in particular is spill water, so it comes on a whole nother group. It's not part of the expansion acres that SM talks about. And if you understand the way SM works, each canal as it comes down spills into another reservoir, into another reservoir, into another reservoir. So it's very efficient that way in that it keeps the water to use for the irrigators in that district. This is the end of the system, so that water doesn't get used by SM irrigators. But where SM will get involved is once those acres are allocated and sold, those acres, those irrigation rights that the farmers are going to pay will help build that system. And once the system's built, SM would then, by a motion from RID, amalgamate with them, and then that would they would take over operations on delivering water and servicing as they do amongst the whole district. So it kind of has to be built before SM gets involved. We can't really, and when I say we, it's my old position on SM, we can't really contribute to it because it's not ours to contribute to. But once the system is up and running, they would get involved then and take over the maintenance and the operations, just like they do the rest of the system along the way. So there is a place for them. They've also had a letter of support to this in that spill water, they recognize there's value to it, and they're more than willing to work with RID to do that. But I think that's where their limitation is. Having said that, if you do go to apply for grants, I'm sure they would send a letter of support to help those grants along. And I think you've seen that we had letters from MLAs and such also. Those could also go along to the grant and help those grants be successful.
And I guess the last one is how many acre feet of spill water do they have versus what their return needs to be at the end of the district?
Back in the original, the executive summary, I believe there's enough acres. I don't have the acre feet. Well, that's acres.
That's it.
2,900 new acres could be built with that, plus helping substitute the 1,100 acres that are now part of the Ross Creek Irrigation District. I can look quickly on the summary, but it's there on how much water, and when we ask for those numbers from SM, it's a yearly number that's been amalgamated because it just runs out. So every time you have a storm and the pivots go down and those type of things, you can't hold that water, so it's running out the end. And if you know, this project would have some sort of basin or lake that you would run into with that spill water, and then those pumps would push it up to the other side. So
Blaine and then Robin.
Well, first of all, to the chair, Gary talked too long, so I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but I'll try to. I am full support of the project and always have been. I think it's a great idea, and I think as far as the county, I mean, we were definitely involved with the first, part of this study, and I think we put in, don't quote me, 20, 30,000 or something in it. 40. Yeah, I couldn't remember the exact number on that study. I think this is a conversation that we probably have to have, maybe in strat planning and with our staff of what this is, because obviously you said you're not asking for cost, but there's going to be cost. I mean, if we get the staff involved, there's definitely cost. And I guess my next question is, as I see we have a lot of entourage of farmers and stuff, are there any willing from the group to help build and support the project with some initial costs involved? I mean, yes, everybody wants to be part of this, but at some point you got to have some skin in the game to get this thing on the fly. So I guess those are my questions.
yeah, and again, that's a fair question, and I think if there were a grant that needed a percentage of seed money or something, I think we could strike the committee or go back to the committee and see if there's a way that we could raise that fund. And I'm speaking part of the committee, but that's the way I see it. And again, when the system has to get built, and the one thing that's helping right now is the cost of irrigated lands. We're SM just moved their rate up to $10,000 an acre in December, and there was an auction last fall of $15,000 an acre just for the water right. So those numbers will help build this system once it becomes feasible and gets started. Those acres are going to get sold, and they're going to go towards the cost of this. I did some rough math here yesterday at $10,000 an acre, 2,900 acres. That's, a good part gets close to that 3/4 fund, to get that project done. And the province has done lots of funding at 25% split, and 75. So between the feds or the province, it could come, it could be feasible. And then plus those new acres, you'd also charge a levy to the existing acres, perhaps a third of that cost, just throwing a number out to help also pay for that. And then you would also probably have some type of cost to any yards that would want domestic water for livestock and yards and stuff, and that would help pay for the, all in all, those farmers will be paying the brunt of the project when it gets to that point.
I totally get all that, but like I said, we have to be careful on how we support all these projects and county-wise, that we're not segregating and we're not specializing, or that's not the right word, certain groups. Like I said, I'm all in favor of, but I think this is a conversation that we have to have, like Robin said, and I'll let him speak in a minute, in strat planning, that we don't, how do I say it, just patronize certain group, if that makes any sense. Like I'd like to see everybody involved, if they're really wanting to get this thing off the floor, to become involved. So that's all I need to say, Rob.
Go ahead, Robin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Gary and Murray, for the presentation, answering the questions. And the beauty is that the strat plan, and Murray and I have talked about this numerous times, the strat planning is tomorrow and Thursday. So the beauty is it's like we're literally having these conversations this week. Gary, my question for you is, you know, the challenge is always, to me, is who owns this, who runs it, and even, I suppose, with what you just talked about, is help me to understand the process, the timing, and, you know, the cart and the horse. You know, we talk about potentially being able to raise $750,000 or three-quarters of the project through the water rights, but that requires SMERD involvement at that point. What we're talking about is SMERD can't really get involved till the system is in, right? Because we're using the spill water, and you can't really sell the rights until it's in. And along that way, if the county comes in and helps out with finding grant funding and helping with resources and things, is the idea that there would be kind of a society that would be established, that would be a legal entity that would then own that the SMERD would then take over? Or how do you envision that? I want it to make sense in my head. I love the project. I've always been in support of the idea, but it always seems to come down and kind of stall when we talk about, well, who owns it? Does SMERD own it up front? Does the county own it because we're not irrigators? And so, to me, part of what I'll be bringing up even tomorrow when we talk strat planning is how can the county support groups, because that group is then going to go out and advocate and do landman work and work with the different people that could be expanding it and selling the licenses. And because I'm assuming that the ask from the county is not to be coordinating that amongst all the landowners, it's more specific to working on the grants. But then the county can only apply for certain grants, if if it's our infrastructure. And so I'm just, as somebody you've worked with SMERD for a long time, you understand a lot about how the municipality side works. How do you envision that next step, being done so that when the time comes, SMERD can, assume the appropriate amount of ownership, the county can support along the way in the right way?
Right, and I kind of was, I don't see SM getting involved until it's built. They're pledging the water at basically no cost, and that's unheard of now in these times, right? So that pledge and support is an opportunity for the county, as I said earlier. SM has several projects where farmers have created co-ops or groups or societies, as you put it, to have a pressurized system, and then the cost of that system has a maintenance fund and an energy fund, which has to be paid by that group. So there would be some type of group here on its own that would be in charge of those costs and would be levied those costs to keep the system viable without influencing any other irrigator in the district. There's one over at Sauter that just got built last year, and there's one in Bow Island 12 that I know of. It's a pressurized system and has pumps and stuff there. So it's been done before as far as that part goes. Again, we've got to be careful. I mean, it's something that SM could help with, but we got to be careful that we're not affecting our current irrigators in trying to pay for that. So
that makes sense. Do you mind if I just follow up?
Quick one.
Yeah. Okay. So your comment though about how that they've agreed to provide the water at no cost. So is the opportunity from your perspective then for the county to assume that the water is being provided to the project and then that the county use that to help fundraise? Or is it the group that would actually, because how else, like if you're trying to raise 2/3 or 3/4 of the money for the project through selling the water rights, I'm trying to see who owns that opportunity, who is the one that actually is doing the work to actually work with the landowners to establish who ends up having the ability to buy that. And then again, like if SM doesn't take over until it's built, okay, but how does it get built? Who builds it? And then to be able to pass it off, right? And so I see this as being something that is managed by a group, whether that be, the irrigation district, or if there's a group that's formed,
Yeah.
that's not connected legally to the county,
Right.
that everybody works together, that group can go to people and raise the funds, and then, works in tandem with the county. That's the clarity that I'm still hoping to kind of get a little bit.
Right, and this whole project was led by the Ross Creek Irrigation District. So the committee formed from that, especially the year when they had no water. So that would be the entity that would champion this. Again, if it's supported by the county, that sends a big message to the province and to the feds in trying to get those grant fundings, right? And it also sends a message to people that want to develop food processing, that you guys are invested in, and those machinery dealerships and fertilizer dealerships come here. And I think, I don't see you having to put a whole bunch of money into it, other than, your staff, which is not nothing. So I don't want to say that either. And we do recognize that you've already invested in the initial. I don't see that is our ask right now. We're looking for some type of grant, and that you could lead us to, and then if we need to find seed money to leverage that grant, then we would go back to that committee and see who could we get that funding from. So I don't see this being onerous on the county at all, and eventually SM would take it over, and because of the water license diversion is way up in Waterton, it has to be involved eventually. So
Thank you very much for your presentation. Unfortunately, your time's up. It's been up I have somebody else at 11, so. Again, we have strat planning tomorrow and the next day, so this will be something that will most likely be discussed in that. So thank you very much for your presentation.
You bet. Thank you very much for having us. Hopefully we give you all the information you need.
If we
You
need
guys have
more,
a
we'll
great
get
day.
in contact.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we will move on to our 11 o'clock. Sorry, we're running a few minutes late, but if you can introduce all yourself. Oh, there's a button there to turn the mic on. There you go. If you can just introduce all yourselves for the minutes, that would be great.
Okay, sure. Okay. Hi, we're here to talk about the Hutchison Battery Energy Storage Facility project. We're from Infinite. I'm Lindsay Hinther. I'm VP of Projects and Operations with Infinite. To my right, I have Josh Valaket. He's the project manager for the project. And to my right, I have Kelly Palmer, who's our manager of communications. So just to introduce Infinite, we are a 100% Canadian owned and operator of electricity generation facilities. We are the largest owner of battery energy storage in Alberta. Until recently, we were the largest owner in Canada, but we've been passed by a company in Ontario. We were founded in 2018. We are wholly owned by TD Asset Management, a subsidiary of TD Bank. And we currently have 13 operating assets across Alberta and one in just into the border on BC. We have a variety of generation, like I said, largest Alberta battery energy storage, but we also have waste gas up in the Peace River area, as well as waste heat in the Crow's Nest area. You can see by the map there. The gray dot on the map there, that's where the Hutchison project proposed location is. And we have a picture of one of our energy storage facilities up there on the slide. They look very boring. They're a bunch of white sea cans. As well as we are a company who likes to get involved in the areas where we and the communities where we operate. So we're always looking for ways to get involved in the community. I would say you may have had other folks come and present power projects. I think one of the differentiators of Infinite is that we do own and operate our facilities. We don't just develop to turn the project over. We are owning and operating our facilities across Alberta. I just want to talk a little bit about why energy storage. So energy storage, the power grid has changed recently with, the increase of wind power and solar power. And, the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. And energy storage can be used to provide grid stability at those times when wind or solar is not available. Our grid used to be predominantly, coal-powered energy, and now the mix has changed. The energy storage not only can be, be standby resources for those periods where you see low supply and high demand. They also can be used to minimize infrastructure build. We're driving down the highway here. You can see there's a lot of newer transmission lines built out there. It's a way to, either reduce transmission build out or delay it. I'll also go through a very real example where, batteries have been used to stabilize the grid. So I don't know, it was January 2024. I don't know if everyone remembers on their cell phone getting an energy alert. It came across many people's cell phones, like turn off your appliances, turn off your Christmas lights, try to reduce your energy that you were using. It came through like an Amber Alert, right? And on January 13th, what happened was the sun set. It's very cold out, so people were running their furnaces, they were using a lot of power, and when the sun set and there wasn't a lot of wind production, it strained Alberta's power grid. And so at that point, all of Infinite's 9 energy storage facilities were turned on to stabilize the grid. It avoided, that could have turned into a blackout. Alberta-wide blackout can take days to recover from. So I'll just go over a little bit more in detail about the Hutchison project in more detail. Our proposed location is 17 kilometers north of northeast of Medicine Hat there, up Range Road 43. Our proposed location is about 5 kilometers south of Altalink's Bowmanton substation. That is our connection we've been given to the power grid, and about a 5 kilometer long transmission line to connect from the battery energy storage facility to the substation. The substation itself is located on private land. We have a lease arranged with that landowner, and then the transmission line is running on Crown land. The location for the energy storage facility is on previously disturbed native prairie. And then you can see on that slide is a rendering of what the facility would look like. Like I said, the batteries are stored in very boring looking white sea cans. So currently we're in the electric system operators process. We're preparing to enter the Alberta Utilities Commission's process. So in November of 2025, just this past November, we did our mail out to various stakeholders, and we've been talking with landowners and the impacted Indigenous communities as well as doing our environmental assessments and activities like that to prepare for a filing with the Utilities Commission in late Q2. Our current schedule is to begin construction midway through 2027 and be commercially operated January of 2029. So this is our last slide. So what we've tried to do with the project is try to minimize the impacts by, having the beds located as close to a substation as we could find. We also, have been out there talking to folks, trying to gather concerns. We also, from an operational perspective, we have 24/7 monitoring of the batteries. We have on-call battery experts in the event of an emergency with the batteries. And in the communities we currently operate batteries, we do offer training to the fire departments or the AHJ. Also, just in terms of recycling and reclamation, there is more and more batteries being built in Alberta. Right now, our reclamation plan and recycling plan, we operate Tesla batteries. They take the batteries back, dismantle them in the US, and reuse the parts that they can. So that was a very quick overview, a lot of information, but happy to take questions.
Anybody have any questions? Dustin?
So if you say you're using Tesla batteries, they're obviously lithium ion. Is there any actual internal fire suppression system in these cans?
So the way that we're currently using the Mega 2 XLs, they're developing the Mega Pack 3s. The Mega Pack 2 XLs, the modules are segregated and they're designed so that they burn, like if there was a thermal runaway event, that they would consume the product in them without spreading to nearby modules. So there's no traditional fire suppression as you would, a sprinkler system in this room, but they are designed to consume the fuel without water.
Okay.
And that's how they are fire tested.
So just knowing a fair amount about these and seeing them burn before, would it not be acceptable to have a foam system inside them? Because that's, anything when it's oxygenated is going to take and burn. And even though you say it's not going to spread to the other modules, when these burn, they burn as hot as the sun does. Like it's tens of thousands of degrees they burn at, and they move. We've seen it where they burn holes through the pavement and scorch the earth underneath it. They burn so hot. I don't know. It just doesn't make me comfortable having a large volume of them there without something being there to deal with them. Because as a guy on a fire department, I know we have no way to deal with them besides with the cars. We literally get a dumpster full and put the car in there and leave it in there until it goes out in 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, so appreciate your concern. The Mega Pack 2 XLs, they've never had a fire event. So the technology is evolving and getting better. So as I said, in the modules, the fuel is designed to consume itself, and what really first responders are doing is really cooling adjacent structures, and then also like wetting the ground around to, you're not saving life here, right? Like we're just preventing it from spreading, right?
That is the big thing though, but the way you're talking for those batteries to consume themselves, it's like weeks. It's not hours, it's weeks.
So some of the older technology, yes, you are correct, would have taken weeks to consume itself. They've seen these modules consume themselves in as little as 4 hours.
Okay.
Technology's getting better. Any other questions? No? No. Nods. Thank you very much for your presentation. Does staff any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kayleen down here.
Oh, did you have something, Kayla?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to confirm that fire services, operations, and planning have met fairly regularly with Infinite, and we're in ongoing conversations. So we are undertaking those conversations through the AUC process, and then also advising of our requirements as well. So.
Okay, thank you very much. We will take a quick 2-minute break and then we will get back at it. Okay, if we can get everybody to take their seats. Okay, I'll call the meeting back to order. 11.1.1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm standing before you to make introduction to Mr. Moon. Andy Moon is a professional engineer. He joined us about 6 months ago in September, and he's going to present council with a bit of what he's been up to over the last 6 months and present a policy for updating. Andy moves fast, and we try our best to keep up with him. So just a brief overview of asset management to get a quick summary of asset management. So what we're attempting to do is we're attempting to make sure that the value of our assets are fulfilling what we're asking them to do. Those assets that we select are with the intention of meeting council's level of service that they've set. So to kind of set the framework of what we'll be hearing for, when Mr. Moon looked at our policy, it was a little bit too high arching. It tried to achieve too much, and realistically where we're at in our asset management journey is a little bit lower. So Mr. Moon's going to present you with a policy that allows us something to achieve in 5 years that's a little bit more realistic. So without further ado.
Hello. Through the chair, like Stephen said, my name's Andy Moon. I'm the Asset Management Coordinator, and I'm here to present the first revision of our Strategic Asset Management Policy, ADM 14. As Steve mentioned, this revision simplifies our policy. It provides top-down direction, and all the existing policy, although effective in relaying the importance of asset management, it was a little too far-reaching. So we need to update to, one, align with current strategic plan, and two, to make it a little more attainable for county staff, set clear expectations. So I'm going to go over a quick presentation, just where we are and where we're going. So since the original policy was adopted in 2020, administration was working pretty feverishly on creating policies to implement asset management into our practices. County staff was working hard to identify all the assets, plan on future maintenance and construction activities, and just get a handle over what an asset management system is. In 2023, we began looking at a computerized asset management system. Unfortunately, that system came with some software implementation issues, and it really halted a lot of the momentum. On top of those software issues, we also went through some pretty significant staffing changes in a lot of the asset management committees that we had. And with no designated staff, it kind of was at a standstill. So since I've been here, since September, I've been really wrapping my head around what it is that we own, what assets, and what work we do to maintain them, and what service each asset provides. I've been working with planning to get our GIS as up to date as possible. We're trying to use our mapping system as the one true source of asset information, not just where it's located, but when was it installed, what condition is it in, et cetera. We've been working to go through some engineering condition assessments that have been done on various different asset classes. So bridges are one of them, building inspections are another. So we've been mining through that data to try to make plans for capital maintenance programs. So pretty robust. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of assets that the county owns. It's a big area that we cover. So there's a lot of roads, a lot of pipe in the ground, a lot of facilities. So just trying to wrap my head around all that information and get it into one usable location where everybody has access to the information, and we can start using that information to make informed decisions. So if adopted, the new policy revisions provide a pretty clear framework for the next 5 years. So it's developing a strategy so the policy is kind of the overarching document. The strategy is how we're going to get there. It includes a roadmap what are our goals for the next 5 years, what are attainable given the resourcing we have. And the big push is on developing structure, format, making sure everything's documented so that in the event of staffing changes, somebody can pick up and continue on with the information. After the strategic plan and the framework, a big push is on individual asset management plans and operating and maintenance procedures for each of the individual groups. So we talked before, roads, utilities, just making sure all of our documents are aligned back to defined levels of service that council agrees to, and it's, clear as day in our policies that this is what we're striving to meet and this is how we get there. So again, reliable and well-maintained assets are essential for the county to deliver our core services to the community now and into the future. As such, progressing our asset management system is crucial to our survival, and it requires a systematic approach as outlined in the revisions to the policy. So I guess today administration's recommending that council adopt the policy and we move forward implementing our system. So. Oh, God. Thank you.
That's unusual. Is there any questions? Somebody want to Michelle's making the motion to accept the policy as written, or as presented, sorry. Let me just double check what that says.
Says that Council adopt policy ADM 14 strategic asset management policy. The county commit to creating, implementing, and continually improving a balanced approach to proactively managing their assets to meet desired service levels in the most cost-effective and sustainable way.
Perfect. Thank you for reading that out, Michelle.
Sure
Any
was.
questions on the motion? Vote. That's carried. First presentation and you got it through. 12 or 13. What are we at here? 13.1.
No, 13.2, we scratched 13.1.
We didn't scratch it.
Well, we moved it or whatever we did with it.
No, you just added on what wasn't. There's a paper there for you.
Thank you, through the chair. The request for decision was printed out and handed out this morning because there was an uploading error. Thank you, through the chair. Administration is recommending that council approve and adopt the council remuneration policy to establish guidelines respecting council attendance at meetings and events, remuneration, benefits, and benefits for elected officials, expense reimbursement, technology support, and for public disclosure for compensation and expenses. The proposed policy consolidates the existing council remuneration policy, council meeting attendance policy, and the computers, printers, and electronic communications policy into a single streamlined document. This consolidation improves clarity and reduces redundancy. The revised policy has also been updated to reflect current dollar amounts and ensure alignment with present-day practices. So additions to the new policy are, so we've added in the counselor benefits. Years ago, back in '85, it was a bylaw, but since then it's been put in through policy. Public disclosure requirements, council promotional items. So as part of the budget, we had put in promotional items for council, and then I did a separate section for the public board members. So then there's just a part in the policy at the end that they can go to. Administration's recommending two motions, that council approve policy COU1, councillor and public board member remuneration as presented, and that council rescind the following two policies, COU2 and COU5. Yeah, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Michelle?
I have a question for you. Where it says the public board member compensation, the $375 per day?
Yes.
Doesn't that change? Didn't we put in to say that cost of living increases?
Yeah, that's further, that's at the beginning of the policy. Yeah, that's at the beginning of the policy. So their board members and councillors' remuneration is always the same, and that goes up with the CPI index every year.
I just didn't want it to, if it changes next year, you're going to change the number.
No, thanks for that. That's a good point.
Mr. Ritz?
Just a quick question. When the remuneration for counselors, the overnight $30 thing when going to a convention, conference, seminar, is that still in there or did that get taken out?
No, that is, that was actually, so that's actually in the expense policy. So there's two policies for council. There's the remuneration policy, and that's what your daily per diems are. Then the other side is the councillor expense policy, and that's in the councillor expense policy at $50 a night for 24 hours away. So that's always been in the expense policy, and that hasn't changed.
Okay, thanks.
Gary?
I read in here somewhere is that if you have two meetings in one day, i.e. strategic planning, and we also sit on the Stampede boards, we would go to a meeting at night,
Yep.
there is one nomination for that entire day.
Correct.
Something similar, that's a good way to encourage people to do less. It's sort of like telling your employees to work overtime, but you don't get paid. You'll be fairly lonely at showing up at work by yourself.
So that's definitely something that, council could direct administration to look at. Some municipalities do a half a day remuneration, so they have a half day, full day, depending on the hours. There's positives and negatives to both, because maybe a meeting is only going to 11:30, maybe the meeting could be stretched to 12:30, then somebody would get a full day remuneration for that day. So it's just a balance on how council wants to do it.
And there's a lot of times, Gary, that I book two things in one day because I know I'm getting paid for the day, so that it works out. Plus, it doesn't carry over to another day. But if we get it all done in one day.
But if we have an all-day meeting and then we have another meeting at night, that really isn't a day. It's a day and a half close to 2 days.
Yeah, but then you have another meeting that's only 2 hours long, so it evens itself out over the time. I don't know who had their hand up first. Michelle and then Dustin.
What I wanted to say, all I was going to say is, for example, I had a policy meeting yesterday, and it took was less than an hour, but I still get paid for it, right? Then whereas today, we have an all-day meeting, right? So it kind of evens out.
It was just a question I had about that even too. Somewhere, I remember in policy before, if it's in there or not, if we were over 8 hours a day, then it did classify as a second meeting in the day, because I thought that was anytime we went after 5 o'clock, we had to start a new meeting.
We have to start a new meeting, but the per diem stayed the same.
Okay, because I was always under the understanding that that was the reason we had to start a new meeting.
No, it's just because it was in the procedure bylaw previously, and it still is, that you have to make a motion to extend the council meeting past 5 PM, but the per diem stays the same. I mean, if there's amendments that council is wishing to add to the policy, I mean, administration's definitely open.
Robin, did you have your hand up?
Comment. I think that, for the most part, I think it's been working pretty well. When I think about over the 8 years, like you said, there's some days you win, some days you lose, but we're not coming in here looking to win. We're here doing public service. I think that, on a 2-hour meeting, we're compensated very well. And I know that in the past, you go to RMA and you're up at 7 o'clock in the morning and you're working until 1 o'clock in the morning. And, but there's some different perks that come with that as well. So at the end of the day, I feel like it does even out. I like there's increased clarity in this, and even just the fact that, in 8 years, I probably looked at this thing twice, and the last time was maybe 6 years ago. So it's nice to have a refresher, and I appreciate the clarity on it.
Mr. Hawk?
Oh,
You covered it? What, are you two in sync today, or what? I'm kind of scared. Can I get somebody to make a motion? Oh, sorry.
Just because Lloyd and me and you had this conversation, you wanted to talk about the month rate remuneration. And I'm going to bring it up so it doesn't get forgot about.
Which,
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know how other counselors do it, but like in Elkwater, it's busy. Like I'm constantly driving over to Rancher's Place or meeting them over in Elkwater for coffee and Yakak. That $12.50 doesn't seem to cover it. And I'd like to see it go up. I'm not saying it should go up $400 or $500. I'm just saying $150 or something like that, I'd be happy with just a little bit more. I know the CEO's always on his phone. I'm the same way out there when I do get cell service. So, but it's just the time. I think should get a little bit more to pay for it.
Michelle?
I would have to agree with that. I know that in my area, just because it's so vast, right? Like there are days where you're driving from one end of my ward to the other end of the ward, and gas is expensive. So I wouldn't be opposed to that.
And that's something that I did look at. Just because the budget was already approved for 26, I didn't put it in there. However, it's at the will of council. We can bring back a budget amendment for that to update it. It's fairly easy, I believe.
Or we could just make it today that it's effective for the next budget. Dustin had his hand up, and then Robin.
Yeah, just speaking on it too, the last time that was raised, I believe, was almost 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been done since the 9 years I've been.
We did it, but I think it was when we first got on. It was a long time ago already.
Robin and then Al.
Thank you. I think we're talking about two things. Michelle, you actually raised a good point about when you're driving around gas and mileage. Maybe there's some clarity, because I recognize that having coffee with my ratepayers and my neighbors is a part of the daily job. But if you're driving around Is there currently the opportunity to bill mileage at least for the driving? If there is, it's great. I would say that, whether we do it as a notice of motion for a later meeting, but it'd be, I think, appropriate at some point to direct staff, and I'm not doing that right now, but it may be a good idea to direct staff to look at, what the provincial averages are, and, we use that 20th percentile to help us to establish our taxation policy. Maybe there's a little bit of research that we could, do that would help us to establish where we're at, and it's probably something that needs a little bit of time.
That's in the compensation section under the monthly salary. And no additional compensation shall be paid for the duties, and only mileage may be claimed in accordance with the, so for instance, Councillor Want, if you went out to the Elkwater Community Association, it's in here that you would get paid mileage to attend, but.
That was my mistake because I had no idea. Really, I would never charge mileage
That does make
being
it
out there. I thought it was included.
It wasn't in the previous policy, and it is now.
Mr. Hogan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The issue of councillor compensation comes up regularly in most municipalities, and there are several ways to deal with councillor compensation. I would suggest that if council is interested in that, is just to make a resolution to direct administration to come back at some point in the next few months. There is quite a bit of research that would have to be done to find out where we sit in terms of our neighbors throughout the province, what the averages are, and then other options for council is to, it's not always popular, but there are many municipalities that just pay a flat salary without the meeting pay. And I think it would be in council's best interest for us to come back with with an investigative report that says this is what's going on in the provinces, what the averages are. And so council would understand where they fit in that. If the number, the 20% quartile that was used in terms of taxation, if that's where council wanted up, once we have the base numbers as to what the averages are and what the region is, then I think it would be much easier to make an informed decision about where your compensation should be as well.
Okay, so I'm going to do, do you have something?
Well, I just wanted to mention something about mileage.
Okay, quick.
Yeah, I'd rather see just a rate go up instead of the mileage, because mileage can get pretty, well, I went here, and to try to prove it, did you not, it just a base raise instead of mileage would be a lot simpler, I feel.
Okay, so now we got three things on the go. We have two here that I need to get motions on. And I know the notice of motion would be to come forward, but I think we're already kind of in. We can just make a motion today to bring this forward in the future. Whether it be a few months down the road, I'm fine with that, before the next budget. Okay, I need a motion from you. Since you can't hear me, make the first motion, please. So we need a motion to bring this policy forward.
Okay.
Shane's making that motion for number one, to approve it. As is for now. Yep. Everybody understands? Vote. That's carried. Now we need to rescind 2 and 5. Blaine's making that motion.
I'll make the motion to rescind COU 2 and COU 5.
Any questions on it? Vote. Now I'm looking for, that's carried. Now Robin's going to make that.
Yeah, I will make a motion that council direct administration to come back at a future meeting in the next couple of months with a research assessment of provincial compensation trends.
Yep.
Yeah.
With options. Everybody's clear on that? Vote. Carried. There we go. That was a quick 3 motions. 13.2.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. 13.2 is regarding
Golf Cart Usage and Traffic Safety Act amendments. In late 2025, Cypress County Community Public Safety had an interaction with an individual who was seen to be operating a golf cart on public roads and on a public trail in the hamlet of Dunmore. Through that interaction, administration received a request to bring to council for deliberation the idea of formally allowing golf carts to operate on some municipal roads. In May of 2024, the province passed legislation to create a pilot project to test whether the operation of a golf cart on municipal roads outside of the current Traffic Safety Act was feasible. Administration's research indicates that there were 7 municipalities who have signed up for the pilot project, with the nearest one being the town of Coaldale. Attached to this request for decision are the regulations pertaining to the use of a golf cart under the pilot project, the bylaw requirements, and the application form. The county has received minimal requests for the use of golf carts on our roadways, only one of which I am aware, and as such, this does not appear to be a pressing public matter. The process and administrative functions to become involved in the current pilot program are significant. The creation of a bylaw under the terms of the pilot project regulation identifying roads to which the county would approve the use of these golf carts, signage, and reporting back to the province the data are all significantly time-consuming. Of greater concern would be the public safety question. What roads would the county deem safe for the use of a golf cart? What parameters would we create to determine the safety factor? How, with limited community peace officer program, would we enforce the newly created bylaw? And the question would also be one of, is this a service level the council deems necessary? The pilot project is a 5-year project expiring in 2029. Should the province determine that the use of golf carts was not feasible at the completion of the project, then the use of these vehicles would need to be rolled back. Should the project be considered successful, then the province would amend the legislation to reflect their experience from the project. In Dunmore and Suffield specifically, administration would be concerned regarding the proximity of Highway 1 and any potential golf cart route and our inability to provide consistent enforcement as to usage of these vehicles during the pilot project. The cost and source of funding for this will be out of the 26 operating budget. This initiative was not considered during the operating budget creation. Provincial legislation is the Alberta Traffic Safety Act. There is no connection to the strategic plan. And our recommendation is that council takes no action regarding the use of golf carts on public roads until such time as the pilot project is completed and permanent amendments are made to the Alberta Traffic Safety Act. Council has the options to accept recommended action, to amend the recommended action, or reject the recommended action.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Blaine?
Well, I guess I'll have a question first. So currently, we're not involved in the pilot project. I don't think we need to be involved in the pilot project. So I would make a motion to, take no action and not be involved in the pilot project. I mean, this is an off-road vehicle. We are, how do you say it? Like we're a wide county, like you said, we'd have to have policies on driving on the gravel road, and I think this is Alberta. This is a transportation thing that needs to be looked at. I mean, if you have you're not allowed to drive ATVs on public roads unless you have them, unless you have insurance and registration plate and all that stuff. So I think we take no action in this.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Any comments or questions? Okay, I'll ask for the vote. Gary?
She clicked it already. Too late.
Oh, did you? Oh. So it's carried. Okay, 13.3.
Hi, Council. Thank you through the chair. Today I am bringing forth a request to schedule a committee of the whole meeting to discuss the land use bylaw and the animal control bylaw. We are requesting to review these two documents in more depth than what allows through a particular council meeting. We are given the scope and potential community impact of both bylaws. Administration recommends a committee of the whole meeting to also identify areas requiring amendments or modernization. We would like to discuss policy direction prior to a formal bylaw amendment process and to allow for a comprehensive council discussion in a workshop style format. The Committee of the Whole meeting will provide council the opportunity to engage in detailed discussion outside the constraints of a regular council meeting. This policy does align with council's committee or commitment to effective governance, and we are recommending that council schedule the Committee of the Whole meeting for April 14th, 2026 for the purpose of reviewing and discussing the land use bylaw and the animal control bylaw. Other options to move the recommended action or to schedule the meeting for an alternative date.
Keith?
I will move that we schedule a committee of the whole meeting for April 14th, 2026 for the purpose of reviewing and discussing the land use bylaw and animal control bylaw.
Perfect. Yep. Go ahead, Robin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering if we're limiting ourselves by having it specific to those two things. I'm assuming that between now and then, if anything else comes up, like the nice thing about Committee of the Whole is that it's not crazy structured. We should still have an agenda for it, but if things come up, I'm just wondering if we should just be approving that date for Committee of the Whole with the agenda to be set prior to, similar to normal meetings. I don't know.
Thank you through the mayor to Councilor Gerpwhite. Council always has the option to add or subtract anything from an agenda. The specific purpose of this meeting was to go through the new land use bylaw, basically page by page. But if there are other issues that council would like to discuss at that time, council can always add to any agenda. That's a council prerogative.
I think we'll be good. Hey, Michelle?
I won't be here on the 14th. I'll be at the ASHA conference in Edmonton.
Why do you have to be that person out of the
Sorry.
group?
It says 14th in here, but I'll be there the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th.
Was there an alternative date close to that you had picked, or? It worked for me, it worked for everybody else, but
Well, then I don't have to be here.
Administration is proposing maybe April 28th. Does that work, Kayleen? April 15th or 16th?
16th would work.
yeah, the 15th, you're still in Edmonton, right?
Well, I'm coming home that day, but I have another meeting that day.
Through the chair, Mayor Hamilton, Councillor Kirby-White will be away in Kananaskis for the EDA conference the 15th and 16th.
That's not in my phone yet.
Me, it doesn't matter to me, I'm farming, calving the whole month.
If it's that much of a struggle, we can just keep it on the 14th, and then I just don't have to be here.
Or April 20th, Monday, April 20th?
Yeah, that works for me, the 20th.
Yeah, that works for me too.
Is there? Dustin, why do you have to be that guy all of a sudden?
Because you didn't tell me beforehand when I booked something. Who do we want to be without more? Dustin.
April 20th.
Be a lot faster day if I'm not there. Why don't we do it on the 8th? Yeah, next, or that council meeting.
April 8th, does that work?
Works for me.
Oh, I guess, eh?
April 8th.
Oh, I lost my calendar.
Does April 8th?
Trying to get back into my calendar.
When is the Economic Task Force meeting?
Through the chair, Economic Task Force will be the 25th of March.
Okay, April 8th then? Is that too tight for you?
Through the chair, will ensure that we meet council's timelines, yes.
Good answer. Yeah, it's only 3 business days ahead.
8?
Okay, so Keith, you're changing it to the 8th of April?
10 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Okay.
8 o'clock won't be there.
It's time for you guys to get up.
Yeah, can we go in the evening? 8 in the evening.
Okay, Keith has made the motion for the 8th. Vote. That's carried. Lunch is here. Okay, we will take a half an hour break for lunch.
You will send out
payment, there was a few, I don't know who it was, if you didn't get paid last month, you didn't sign your form. Payroll will not pay you if you don't sign. I can't sign off on it if you don't sign it. I don't know who, I just know there was 2 or 3 people that are probably going to complain that they didn't get paid. It's not because the county doesn't want to do it, it's because you didn't fill out your paperwork and you didn't sign your paperwork. I think you signed yours.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't remember who it is.
That's okay. So it's just because the crossover between the old way we've done it and the new way, it was just for the few board members for the library board. So, because they were printed off on the old sheets, so we just need to get you guys to sign them, and then we can pay them on next month's pay run. Just because they never submit anything. Correct.
Oh,
That's
did all the
correct.
council members get them done?
I believe so, yeah.
I thought there was 1 or 2 that didn't have theirs signed too.
I'll text Ally and let you know.
I think you did, because I signed off on yours. I can't sign off unless they're signed. And I have to check them, and I know I signed off. Yeah, I seen that once. I signed Fred Flintstone on the other side, so.
I'll verify with Ally and get back to you before the end of the meeting.
The meeting back to order. And we're on number 14.
Thank you, Mr. Eve, members, or Mr. Mayor, members of council. Several pieces of correspondence for today. First is an invitation to the 12th Annual Bread and Roses Gala in support of the Medicine Hats Women's Shelter Society. You can read that one. There is the Hutchinson Battery Storage Facility connection. I won't get into that too much. There is a thank you from the Root Cellar Food and Wellness Hub, and a letter to all of council from the Elkwater area.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Mayor Hamilton, perhaps before you move on, I just wanted to bring to council's attention, the federal government has also implemented legislation surrounding NSF, non-sufficient fund checks, and in some instances, the federal government's only allowing to charge $10. We currently charge $30 in our master rates. It's mainly for institutions, but there could be a few instances that we become an institution under that legislation. Just looking into it this morning, so there could be something in the master rates that's frustrated by this new federal legislation. Just thought I'd bring that to council's attention, and if required, we'll bring back the master rate bylaw for changes.
Thank you. Okay. Any comments? Anybody?
Pardon me?
Anybody? Any comments?
You want to talk lawyer stuff?
Mr. Want.
One thing, can we just give it 5 minutes?
No, we're rolling right now.
Okay, just in case somebody's late.
I can speak on Red Roses if it buys you a little bit of time.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've attended Bread and Roses a few times. I would definitely it's one of the staple events within the community. I don't think that council's ever had have you attended that one, Dan? It's a good event. It's a really good event to go to. It would be one that there's probably 2 or 3 events every year that I think the council should consider having a table at. That would be one of them. I've definitely gone on my own before and paid my way through my business, but just in case there'd be interest in it, I think that would be one of the ones to consider.
I don't think you get, I'm just going to follow up on that. I don't think you get, I don't know if there's any tickets left. I know I am going on Saturday. I was invited to go. I am going representing Cypress County, and they are very happy to have us there as representation. So I don't know if there's any tickets left, but I will be at the gala for representing Cypress County on Saturday.
My question on it was, do we do anything else to support the Women's Shelter Society?
Just $250,000 for their playground. Go ahead, Mr. Want.
This, for the Range Road 31, up on the Thelma, and it's south on the Thelma. Anyways, about 3 weeks ago, I got an email concerning this road. It was me, I got stuff from. Anyway, since then, I've had lots of emails, and I believe other councilors, they got calls on this too. What it is there's 6 individuals who are ratepayers that have all different land down on this road. It's the only access road they have to get down there. And I keep calling it a road, and all 4 of those that I've really been communicating with have told me it's not a road, it's a trail. And it's in very bad shape in the ruts. Excuse me. Anyways, a little history here. This is what I was advised by them. August 25, they applied and filled out the paperwork for the gravel program for this. And all they wanted was the ruts filled. And then they were told apparently that it would be in the fall when they would find out. So one of them got a hold of somebody at the county in the fall and was told that it would be put over till the spring because it's got to go to council. So they never heard anything, and then in January, we passed that policy for cost sharing. And I am going to say that I'm still 100% supportive of that because I know we have to do it to try and recover some costs. So they're upset because no one advised them that this program or policy, I should say, was coming. And they just want the ruts done. I keep hearing that. And I'm kind of supporting them a bit because I believe if you submit your paperwork and it's okay and it goes through and they applied for those regulations and qualifications and for the gravel, that I think we should honor it. But it will be the last time if it's, I'm going to make a motion, and if it passes, it will be the last time that this is done here with these guys, because they're going to have to obey and follow the bylaw, or the policy, I should say, that we've set. I can understand them being upset, because I would be too.
Did they put their paperwork in, like
They-
last year before the end of August?
My understanding is their application was in, signed, sealed, and delivered, the Ts were crossed, the Is were dotted, I'm told, and they had it in before the closing date. That's, I mean, Mr. Jacobs can fill us in if there's something else that I'm missing.
Well, we shouldn't be putting staff on the spot. I mean, this should be a
Oh,
motion that's brought
Sorry,
forward. so
okay, no, then I
research and
apologize.
Defend what,
If somebody knows something that I don't know,
Gary, you have your hand up?
Through the chair, Councillor Want, do these people have property that is landlocked without this road?
Yes.
Okay, I think that answers our question. You can't landlock people.
This would be what needs to be brought back for future, because we don't know for sure. Yes, he's saying it's landlocked. We don't know for sure. It should be up to staff to have time to bring a presentation forward to defend these accusations. Mr. Hogan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And to council, my question then, in terms of a council desired service level, is it council's wish then that every landowner that has landlocked land, that we would build a road to those lands?
No.
That's, because that's the crux of this matter, is this is an undeveloped road allowance, 31A. And I don't know all the particulars about the application, but what I heard was the concept that if it's landlocked land, then we ought to be doing something, and that's that will add significant expense on an annual basis if that's the direction we're going. We'll certainly look into to what actually happened with 31A, and potentially Mr. Jacobs knows, has it in his back pocket and knows what's going on, but if not, we'd be happy to bring it back to the next council meeting.
Dustin had his hand up.
Yep. I also received a fairly large amount of comments and from people about this, and I'm in agreement with Lloyd that if something is put in before a policy gets changed, it should be honored under the old policy. That makes perfect sense to me, but I do agree with going forward, it should be under the policy that was changed.
Lane?
Well, I don't, we already have a motion, to the chair, we already have a motion on, I think, do we have a motion on the table? No?
Oh, he said he was going to put one on.
So I really think the proper protocol here is I would like to make a motion that we have administration look into, because we're a lot of hearsay and what if and all that stuff going on here. The administration look into the application, when it was put in, and the facts of the matter, so that it can be brought back to council so we can make a proper assessment of it. Because I do also agree, to further to that, I do also agree with the statements made by Dustin and Lloyd that if it was put in before, and that is for administration to bring back to us, and we can clarify that at that time.
Through the mayor to council, I don't believe any of our applications ever guarantee any work being done either. Applications are always based on budget, based on availability, based on staff time. We'll look into this to find out exactly what happened here, but I just, the idea that somebody put an application in does not necessarily guarantee that the work will be done.
That is true.
Well, so to clarify, I guess, my motion, it would be to the fact of the application towards policy, whatever that policy was at the time of the application. Now, whether the policy said, I'm not even going to repeat what the policy said because I don't know what it is, so I'll let administration bring that back.
We'd be happy to bring it back for the 24th of March.
Mr. Kirby,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I read through the letter that was submitted as well, I do question whether it would be of value to, when we deal with this on the 24th, this is one of those situations where I think it would be important to, whether we respond to the letter with a letter explaining that we don't use our taxes that they provide us to fund these programs. These are, when we have different programs that come up, they're added value, they're added like they're levels of service type of programs that I think it's important to educate the public on the fact that their taxes don't even come anywhere close to covering the services that they get, and that these kind of programs, they come and they go. It's nice to keep them, but sometimes programs that exist don't exist in 5 years from now, and it's not a result of a lack of stewardship. But if a situation like this, I think if you looked at the taxes that are generated annually on a specific, in fact, I remember having a conversation with one of my ratepayers back 6-7 years ago, and it would have taken like 75 years worth of tax on the quarter that he was accessing in order to cover what he got in the one program. And so I think that it is important that we have something like that available, because it's not going to be the last time that we're questioned about it, and maybe it's a letter that can be then redistributed when people ask questions about it in the future too, because I know I get calls about it all the time and I have to continually repeat that.
I would agree with that. We have a lot of programs from the province that come and go. I mean, they don't look back and say, well, last year you could have done it. And so there's a lot of that going on all the time. Mr. Want?
So I have spoken to 4 of these applicants quite a bit, and that has been explained. And if I put staff on the line, I apologize. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, we have a motion on the floor to check into it and see where it lays, and we'll deal with it next council meeting. Everybody's clear on the motion? Vote. Carried. Any other questions or comments on not seeing any? Move over to the mayors and councilors, not mayors and reeves this week. I don't have a lot to report. I am going to the gala this week. I know I was busy for a couple of weeks with some personal stuff and kind of didn't. I had one finance meeting at Cypress View and that was it, and everything looks pretty good there. So not a lot for me. That's very unusual, but Gary, do you have anything?
I attended 2 meetings, one with the Chamber of Commerce, Red Cliff, Cypress County, and Medicine Hat. Basically, the Cypress County is looking, or the Chamber of Commerce is looking for input from the 3 so that they can work on joint ventures and advance them. It was well attended by Red Cliff, 3 of us from Cypress County and 2 from Medicine Hat.
Well, there were 4 there, but the other 2 just left.
Yeah, they just got up and left. Yeah. I also attended Black History Month, February the 27th at the Esplanade, really well, really interesting. It was well attended by dignitaries, and they had a panel consisting of 2 nursing student and a criminal justice student from the college, who also was the captain of the soccer team and led the college to a gold medal last year, which nobody bothered to tell us about. They done very well. And a barber that started up from downtown. And Chamber of Commerce narrated that. Very well done. It was very interesting.
Well, actually, mine's been pretty quiet. A few phone calls, a few text messages, but nothing major. And had a quick, short meeting in Elkwater the other day.
Michelle?
I attended the Safety Buzz Wheels of Opportunity luncheon, which was pretty good. It was well attended. These 2 were there too, but they didn't say that. And the Tri-Area Council, their Chamber of Commerce thing, I was at that. And a policy meeting yesterday with Cypress View. And that's about it.
Shane?
Yeah, I attended Chamber's Tri-Council meeting, also with Gary and Michelle. Attended Highway 320 Association meeting up in Lethbridge. Red Cliff, Cypress County Red Cliff Rec Board meeting. It was interesting. We had a presentation put on by the bicycle guys, the off-road bike guys, and they wanted Red Cliff to write a letter. They're trying to get some land, crown land, to ride bikes on. And it's all presently owned by somebody else, and they weren't making much headway, so they wanted political help and didn't go very far. And Ag Service Board meeting. That was about it. A few phone calls and the odd email.
Blaine?
Yeah, a few things going on. February 19th, we had a library meeting where we were continuing discussions of the updating of the board policies. That's getting really close. Hopefully by spring, summer, we'll have that done and completed. Also, there was budget discussions, and due to the increase in activity, along with the higher wages and maintenance costs, there will likely be an ask for an increase in the 2027 budget. I just thought I'd let council be aware of that. Also, like Shane said, we had an ASB meeting on the 24th, looking into maybe developing a program through through the ASB and for some classroom discussions about agriculture in the schools. Kind of supports the strategic planning of the Ag Service Board, so fits there. Also, another thing I'd like to talk about is at a concern of a ratepayer with our fire permit policies or how that actually works. I know there was concern, this fellow phoned and wanted to get a permit to burn on March 1st. Of course, from what I understand, our permit thing it runs out on February 28th, and February was pretty dry, so I would like to get, actually what I'm asking for is some clarification again on that policy. So if I could maybe have Joe look into that and bring it back.
I can tell you what we changed it to, the last time we changed it. So when we brought it up, and I believe it was last year at about this time, we took and changed it so that it's now in the regard of the fire chief to take and, it's his discretion when permits can be issued and they cannot be. There's no longer a cutoff date.
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought we
that got changed last year, and being that I know we shut them down, permits were allowed up to Monday last week, and then they were shut off because they knew there was going to be the wind event on Thursday, and they still went out and they had to put out, I think, 4 or 5 different burn permits on that day because they were still smoldering and flaring out of the pits and stuff. So they had good reason for what they did.
I understand that, but now that we had this snow event and now they're still off then, or is there something?
Well, as far as to what I've seen for communication, there's still no permits being issued, but if you look at the snow event, the snow was here yesterday and gone today, so I wouldn't be issuing them either.
Okay.
Does that clarify for you?
I guess the one thing I'll just state is someone who sees it from the inside a little bit. A burn permit, just because it burns on Monday and Tuesday and it's considered out because it's not smoking anymore on Wednesday, doesn't mean that when the wind comes up on Thursday, that it won't take and roll those embers out of the bottom of that pit and start burning again. And we've seen that time and time again with lots of fires, and that's where they're very conscious about it. They take and they look at the fine fuel moisture index, the initial spread rates that the Alberta government puts out, and you know, corresponding to what the weather's going to do, and try to be discretionary on that.
But I think the key thing, Blaine, you were looking for is you thought March 1st it was automatically on. It's not. It's at discretionary of the fire chief. Okay. Dustin, you have?
Yeah. And if we get another foot of snow, I bet you they'll take it back off again. But I have very little to report. Lots of communication over the last subject we talked about with these road allowances, and a lot of communication about Highway 3, especially since they said there was some money available last night. I think I had about 30 text messages on today, people that want to talk, and it's like, it's going to be a long day.
Robin?
Yeah, thank you. Pretty quiet as far as the meetings and stuff go. I had a few different phone calls. I wanted to throw props out to Joe and your team with regards to, ironically, fires as well, because I came back from Lethbridge at the end of last week, and there was a fire out on the Black and White Trail. You know, just it's always awesome to see how our guys and gals respond quickly, and man, did we get lucky with the location of where that was. It was blown at like 80K, and if it wasn't for the fact that it was down in a draw, that could have been up on top and heading into the Little Plume area pretty darn fast. So, you know, pat on the back for you and your team on that.
So not too terribly much to report in the last 2 weeks. Did the Ag Service Board meeting on the 24th. And it has nothing really to do with council, but Jenner Fire partnered with Jenner School, and we had grade 7, 8s, and 9s come over for the last 6 weeks for an hour and a half with the fire department, and yesterday was our wrap-up, and it was very successful. The kids were very receptive, excited, and again, partnering with Prairie Rose, I thought it was a great success story, so just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I got a comment.
Shane?
I just want to give a hats off to one of our staff members, Ken Jacobs, our Public Works guy. His knowledge, what he brings to our county is, it's like a MasterCard, it's priceless. You know, he knows when to put out these tenders, put them out early, because companies are looking for work. I've never heard of culvert or bridge tender going out and getting 15 bids. But if you do it early, these companies are looking for work. They're anxious so they can put their employees to work. And Mr. Jacob, with his knowledge, knows that, and he's doing it for us. And I just want to give my hats off to him. He does a great job for our county.
You feeling okay today?
A lot of kudos, this guy. I took some pills. You should take those all the time.
Hey, any other comments? Not seeing any, we don't need a motion for those, do we? Okay, I need a motion to go in camera. Gary's making that motion. Vote. It's carried, we're in camera.